everyone, Dawn here. Welcome to part 2 of my little series I'm doing on 50 horror movies you might not have seen or lesser known of horror movies. I haven't figured out what I'm going to title the series yet, but if you saw the first video, you would know that I was inspired by Shot Till You Drop's 50 horror movies you've never heard of or something along those lines, and I will link information about that movie down below. I saw it on Amazon Prime, and as of this moment it is still available on Prime Video. So we left off on 41, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And I'm sorry, I do have to look at my notes, but so we're going to now we're going to start with 40. And 40 was a movie I just happened upon, just kind of skipping through channels and stuff. And I saw Colin Hanks, so I'm like, well, let me watch this. And it was really very creepy. So it's called Alone with Her from 2006, and it replaces Motel Hell on my list. I do highly recommend Alone with Her, and it's so scary because it can really happen. Colin Hanks has that sweet angelic face. You'd never believe he'd be capable of something like this. And it's just, it's just spooky, and you really, like me, I'm watching the whole movie. I know who he is. I know what he's doing. I know how bad he is, but I'm like, he's nice. He's a nice guy. But, the whole time knowing what he's doing, I'm still like, no, not him. Not that sweet, precious face. But Alone with Her, I highly recommend that one. And for 39, I have a movie called The Lady in White from 1988. And it replaces Wrong Turn on my list. The Lady in White is just, it's an old-fashioned ghost story type movie, and it's very eerie, and it kind of mixes something that can happen in real life with something just spooky, and just kind of meshes it together. And it's really, I think it would appeal to somebody who isn't even really a horror fan, someone who's more of a mystery fan or something of that nature. It would be appealing to an individual like that either. I can't even talk, but it's really good. I'm going to look that up. I might want to watch that. But I remember when it first came out, it almost seemed like it presented itself as a kid's movie, but it definitely isn't. It's not, it may have been a made-for-TV movie. I can't remember for sure, but it's still, I think it's a really good, just suspenseful, scary ghost story. And next is number 38, Session 9 from 2001, and that replaces The Fury. Session 9 is another, just haunting movie, and you don't see ghosts, and it's not real heavy on special effects. Is it David Caruso? He's in it, and it's just very eerie and very, I don't know, it's so simple, but it's so scary. I do recommend that if you like horror that's not right in your face. And I actually had to watch it twice to totally get the gist of what was going on. But it's a really good spooky movie. And next is 37 on my list, and that is Ginger Snaps from 2000, and it replaces April Fool's Day. Ginger Snaps is, it's a werewolf movie. Spoiler alert, sorry. I don't normally like werewolf movies, but Ginger Snaps is it's just really well done. And it stars, I can't remember their names now. The girl, she's been in a ton of stuff. She was in American Mary, which also is a great movie. That didn't make my list. but that's a really good movie. Maybe I'll do another list and she'll be on that one. What is her name? I can't remember it. But also, it's her, and then the girl that plays her sister was in the original TV series. And I'm sorry, I can't remember their names. What is wrong with my brain? I used to be able to name off actors like blah, 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 blah. Okay, so Ginger Snaps. I think the girl that played her sister is Emily Perkins. I'm almost sure of that. Why can't I remember that actress's name that plays Ginger Snaps? Or the main character. It's not her name, but she was in Freddy vs. Jason. She was in See No Evil 2. She's been in a ton of stuff. She was in a couple episodes of Supernatural. I don't know. I don't know why I can't remember her name right now. Okay, so number 36 on my list is Let the Right One In, and that from 2008, and that replaces Humanoids from the Deep. They did make an American remake called Let Me In with Chloe Grace Moretz. She played Carrie in the remake of Carrie, and that was certainly a decent movie, but Let the Right One In is, in my opinion, it's a little more eerier. It's a vampire love story at its heart. And I do highly recommend that one if you haven't seen that. Now, it is a foreign film, but, you can find it dubbed. And then, okay, so next is 35, Visiting Hours from 1982. And that replaces Hatchet on my list. Now, Visiting Hours mostly takes place in a hospital, and it's this man, I believe it's played by Michael Ironside. He's just a real bad seed, and he's trying to get this woman. He attacked her and put her in the hospital, and he still, he's determined to kill her. But it's just, do I want to say cat and mouse? Is it cat and mouse? Maybe kind of a cat and mouse type of thing, but it's just freaky because it could really happen. And I think that their movie poster, their OG movie poster for Visiting Hours was probably one of the best movie posters I've ever seen. And you can probably see it dancing around my head somewhere. And then next is a movie called The Descent, which I don't know if that's really a lesser known movie, but again, I'm thinking in terms of people like me who are obsessed with horror, so we know all the horror movies, but maybe you're casual horror fan, like, hey, let's get a scary movie tonight, that type of person. Maybe they haven't heard of it. But The Descent, 2005, it replaces May on my list. The thing about the Descent is it really gave me like, whew, right in here, like pump, 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 because it's if you have claustrophobia, like I have just a touch of claustrophobia. Like I think I have a very healthy amount of claustrophobia, and if you're claustrophobic or have like a fear of being in the dark and in a tight space, it's really upsetting. Like, I don't mind the dark so much. Well, if I'm in the dark someplace that I don't know, but I don't know what's in caves, so yeah, the Descent is just, it's really scary in my opinion. I think it's very scary, and it is a female driven movie. Number 3 is a movie called Digging Up the Marrow. This is the second time Ray Wise has appeared on my list. The first time was my 50th movie was Dead End. He's in that. But in Digging Up the Marrow, it's done sort of as a found footage documentary style thing. Oh, and it came out in 2014 and replaces Lamora on my list. Digging Up the Marrow I think it's very well done. And at the beginning, it's like it's little snippets of people from horror movies and horror fans just talking like at a con, and you kind of think it's going to go in that direction, but it goes in a slightly different direction, and it's really, in my opinion, very well done, and just really, it's just a weird movie, and it's creepy. I like it quite a bit. And then 30, do I just keep saying that? Like, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. This is my first time ever doing something like this. So, like a series like this. So, I'll get better. I'll work on it. So, the next movie on my list is 32, Hatchet from 2006, which replaces The Brides of Dracula. Hatchet, Kane Hodder is in it. And it's a Crowley movie. If you know the Crowley legend, it's kind of what they based the story around. In fact, the character is named Victor Crowley. But it's grotesque. It's very gory, bloody, and violent, which normally I don't like that in horror movies. Not that it grosses me out or freaks me out, but I think it's weak. But I feel like it definitely earned its place in this movie. It definitely belongs in Hatchet. And then next on my list is number 31, Lamora from 1973. It replaces The Exorcist 3 on my list. Now, Lamora is it looks, oh, I just spit. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It looks very much like a Hammer film, if you're familiar with the Hammer series of films, like with the Brides of Dracula or one of those films. Those, you know, just, but not really, because it's darker almost, like, if I could say that. It's just, the cinematography is really strange, but it really works well with this movie, and it's another kind of witchy ghost story type thing. In my opinion, a little bit like The Lady in White. You can definitely see some of its influence on The Lady in White. It's not the same story at all, but you could definitely see how someone who is watching Lamora as a young person decide to make The Lady in White when they're older. You could definitely see kind of an influence there. And I love it when you watch a movie and it makes you think of more recent movies, like not in the sense that, oh, it's been told before, but in the sense that, you know, I bet this person watched that movie and they were influenced by it in some way. You know what I mean? Am I making any sense? I hope I am. And so that's it for part 2. Just because I don't want these videos to run very long, because it's like I said, it's 50 movies, so it could be a very, very, very long video. So we're going to end this here and come back for part 3, which should be next. Because I'm going to edit these and they're all going to be posted back to back. So you should be able to see them all, you know, whenever you want to see them. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to all of you later. Bye.